How's it going, everyone? And welcome back to the Angry Rican Show. Today, I would like to talk about the WNBA. Unfortunately, the WNBA is back on the news. And of course, it is not for anything good. For some reason, when it comes to the WNBA, there's always have to be some drama surrounding it. What am I talking about? Well, it appears that the great white hope that is Caitlin Clark has managed to cause some controversy. One that is not of her own making. Time magazine has announced that the athlete of the year is, in fact, Caitlin Clark. That unfortunately has your liberal, woke, race baiters up in arms, as usual. And also, she's managed to cause some controversy with some comments that she made herself. Apparently, she has bent the knee to the woke mob and to your typical race baiters. Apparently, Miss Caitlin Clark is tired of getting her ass kicked by the lesbians of the WNBA and has bent the knee to them. However, that is not what I want to talk about today. I do not want to talk about that because I do not particularly care. I am a strong believer that politics should not be included in any sports, period. Regardless of the sport, we should keep those two things separate. Why? Because when I watch sports, I just want to watch sports. I do not care about your political opinion. I do not care about that. I do not want to hear about it when I'm watching my sport. Period. With that said, what I really want to talk about today is actually the WNBA as a whole and why the WNBA sucks and why nobody wants to watch it. And also, I would like to discuss the simple solution to that problem. And it's very simple and it's nothing new. I'm not going to be the first person to discuss it, nor will I be the last one. However, I feel that it is time that we bring it up again. And perhaps it's time that we continue to bring it up until finally the powers that be, the shot callers, the executives, the people that make the decisions can finally get it through their thick skull that in order to make the WNBA profitable and appeasing to the general public, things have to change. What am I talking about? As many of you know, the WNBA was formed in 1996. As a matter of fact, I was 16 years old at the time. I myself play basketball. I love basketball. I played basketball throughout high school. I was excited when I heard the news that women were finally going to have their own professional league called the WNBA. And the reason why I was excited about it is because one, I love the game of basketball, and also because I also love women. And I was happy to see that finally women are going to be able to have their own professional league where they can make money. And I was excited for them. And thus, when the league started, I, just like many basketball fans, started watching it. However, as history would show us, the league kind of just fell off. And it fell off hard. And the reason for that is very simple. Very, very simple. The women can't dunk. It's literally that simple. There are some women that can dunk. However, the ones that can dunk, they can barely dunk. Therefore, their dunks are not as exciting as the NBA dunks. And thus, that brings me to this particular video today. It's a very simple solution to the problem that they have. If the WNBA want to become successful, if they want to become profitable and make enough money so as to not have to have their athletes go and play in overseas leagues in order to sustain themselves, then you have to make a change. You have to make it so that the women can actually dunk. And how do you do that? Very simple solution. Lower the fucking rim. Lower the rim to 9 feet. Why do I say 9 feet? 9 feet is a perfect number. And the reason is simple. The average height of an NBA player is about 6'6". The average height of a WNBA player is about 5'11". Also, men have a longer reach. They also jump higher. So if you factor in the fact that the men are taller, have higher reach, and jump higher, then it only makes sense that we should lower the rim to 9 feet. 9.5, I think, wouldn't be lower enough for us to be able to see the same nice dunks, exciting dunks, the 360 windmills, uh, you know, all the exciting dunks that we have grown to love from the NBA. And I would like to show you a particular video that was done by D-Flow Hoops about 3 years ago on this topic. And he explains it to you a lot better than I can using facts. And then we're gonna watch it, and then we're gonna discuss it as we watch it. So obviously I will be pausing it and making my commentary on it, but it's definitely a good watch, and I think that more people need to watch this as well as share it with the powers that be so that change can happen in the WNBA if indeed we want the WNBA to become successful. And I would love to see the WNBA become successful simply because I love the game of basketball. So with that said, let's get into the actual video. So let's go ahead and get my headset on so that I can hear it with you. And let's talk about it because I think this is something that we need to discuss because change needs to happen. So let's get to it.
Brittany Griner owns 85% of the WNBA's total dunks of all time, begging the question, why doesn't the league lower the rim? The rim in both the NBA and WNBA is 10 feet, and in order to dunk, your fingers need to be about 6 inches above the rim, requiring a reach of about 126 inches. Men naturally meet this vertical jump, but women come up about 10 inches short. Lowering the rim would lead to far more flashier, awe-inspiring jams, and would also allow more players to throw it down. Given the lack of revenue that the league brings in every year, maybe this could bring the women's game to a new level. I understand that current...
Now, real quick, that's crazy, right? 80% of the dunks is done by Brittany Griner, and she's like 6'11", and her dunks are horrible. And I say she loosely, by the way. That's a topic for another day.
Current players would have to adjust their shooting form, and stars in the W like Candace Parker and Breanna Stewart have been opposed to this idea, which we'll get to in a minute. But firstly, here's why the argument to lower the rim is legitimately there. In volleyball, nets are lowered by about 7 inches for women, the tee boxes in golf are moved up significantly for women, and in tennis, women play fewer sets than men do at Grand Slams. In general, sports are adjusted to account for the physiological differences between...
No, I want to add to that because he didn't mention it. Also, in the WNBA and in women's basketball, period, the ball itself is a lot smaller because women have smaller hands. Same thing with the three-point line. The three-point line is actually a little bit closer because obviously the women are not as strong. He didn't mention that, but I just figured I'd throw that in there.
Between men and women. The average height of an NBA player is 6'6.5", while a WNBA player's average height is around 5'11". The primary reason people tune into the NBA is the potential to see their favorite players dunk on one another. Because dunks are the most entertaining part of basketball. They're why the league continues to be the second most popular major sports league in North America. From poster jams, 360s, windmills, and lobs, to the infamous dunk contest, without throwdowns, the NBA wouldn't be anywhere near the product that it...
Think about it. You just see that slam. Can you imagine seeing some of these ladies just doing those type of dunks? How much more exciting would the WNBA be if only we just included this into the damn game, which is part of the professional game of basketball? I mean, high school kids can dunk basketball a lot better than any female athlete can. Not only that, I've even seen junior high kids throw it down. So this is definitely something that needs to change, and it needs to change fast.
Currently provides to fans across the globe. Many of you are probably thinking that whether or not the rim's 9 feet or 10 feet, the women just can't jam it, which I disagree with. Lowering the rim even just a tad bit would generate tremendous interest for the women's game, and as athletes get stronger.
See, he said just a tad bit, but I disagree with him. Let's make it a flat out 9 feet. 9 feet is perfect. At 9 feet, I'm 6 feet. I'm old, but I can still dunk it, and that's fun. So 9 feet, I think, would be the ideal height for women's basketball.
Over the decades, this could lead to a whole new product. NBA insider of Medium.com, BG Lemon, calculated back in 2016-17 that the average height of the women in the WNBA was 72.57 inches and 79.1 inches for the men in the NBA, a difference of 6.53. He went on to further calculate how high the average basketball player can jump using standing reach, which a study from Hoops Beast proves to be 1.33 times their normal height and vertical jump. Based off a calculation of standing reach times average height plus vertical jump, the NBA players' reach stretched out 18 inches further than WNBA players. Looking at it from another perspective, and if men were playing at a similar height disadvantage, they'd be playing on an 11.5-foot rim. Lowering the basket isn't a new idea, as it's
You guys heard that, right? So if the men were playing with the same disadvantage, that's an 11 and a half rim. 9 feet is that buffer zone. 9 feet, it's what it is, what's gonna make the game go to the next level.
been suggested by NBA legends Shaquille O'Neal as well as Tracy McGrady.
So in beach volleyball, the women's net is maybe half an inch lower. You think if we just lower the rim so y'all could dunk like we dunk, that'll give y'all more oomph than you already have?
No.
I mean, because listen, y'all are doing the step back, the pull back. Y'all doing everything we're doing, but I don't see a lot of people going up with two hands and, back.
Oh, it's coming. Opportunities are.
So you don't think if we just
Opportunity is-
drop it to
What?
9, 10
Nah,
and a half?
I
you
guarantee.
think, Flash?
Layla, she's into dance, but my next child will be drop step dunking. I promise.
Candace Parker
This is the problem right there. I can't stress this enough. That's the problem right there. You see the look on her face? The look of disbelief? It is the women's own ego that is causing them not to succeed. The league, of course, can just make the change regardless of how they feel about it. And over time, they will be thankful for it. But not only does the league not want to make the rim 9 feet tall, the women themselves don't want to do it because they feel some type of way. Because they don't want to be inferior to the men. They feel like they can play just as good as the men and they can do just as good. And if only they practice harder, if only they lift more weights, they will at some point be able to dunk the same way that a man can. The truth of the matter is that unfortunately biology does not allow that to happen at all. You would have to wait for evolution, and that's going to take millennials. And even then, the only way that can possibly happen, and I mean I'm just spitballing over here, and obviously it would never happen because it's unethical. But you would have to basically pump baby girls with steroids in their baby formula. And then hope that somehow they grow up to be 6 feet and super strong. Other than that, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And it's sad. It is extremely sad that we live in a time where, for some particular reason, people don't want to acknowledge that there are differences in the sexes. Men, on average, are bigger, stronger, faster than women. That's just a biological fact. This isn't to insult anyone. or to make anyone feel bad. It's just the facts. It's just the truth of the matter. If you want to blame somebody, blame God. Unfortunately, he didn't make women as strong and as fast and all that other stuff as us. So therefore, if you want to level the playing field, you have to lower the fucking rim. Period. There is no other way around it. If you want the WNBA to succeed and actually turn a profit for once in their lifetime, lower the fucking rim to 9 feet.
Wasn't having any of it, but in every single sport that's played by both men and women, there's adjustments based on science which ultimately increase the entertainment value. Except for basketball, that is. And sure, moving the rim down would force current players to adjust the arc on their shooting release, which they don't want to do. But for the betterment of the league's future players who'd factually make way more money if dunking was involved, I think it's time we see some current WNBA players step up and support this movement. But Breanna Stewart, who's one of the league's brightest stars, wasn't having Tracy McGrady's take back in 2018.
This talk, I think me and Rebecca Lobo had this talk during the Hall of Fame, and I was talking about doing something that gets, not your average fans, people that don't watch WNBA basketball. What can we do to get those fans to tune in? And I was like, why can't we lower the goal to at least 9.5 feet? Because I think for somebody that don't watch WNBA basketball, to have women dunking on other women would definitely bring more excitement to that game, and have those guys that don't watch WNBA basketball tune in, and you get more fans that way. What do you think about that?
I mean, my thought on it is, I've been playing basketball on a 10-foot hoop my whole life. So to move it to 9.5, it's going to take a long time to get used to that. And then also, we're only playing basketball to dunk? I'm not sure. You just want to see me dunk on somebody?
Breanna Stewart, the answer to that question.
Let me unpack that. Let me unpack that real quick, because she said a couple things here that we need to discuss. And for your normie, or for someone that just enjoys basketball just for watching it, but someone who doesn't really play basketball, you might think that she says something there that was true or profound. She said that she's been playing in a 10-foot hoop her entire life, and that lowering it to 9 feet would take a long time for her to adjust. I'm going to tell you this right now. From a person who has been playing basketball since the age of 5, I'm 44 years old. I played all throughout high school, and every other Sunday, I go to my local gym and I play a couple of pickup games. That is bullshit. That is bullshit. As a matter of fact, when I was younger, we would lower the rim to about 9 feet so that we can dunk on each other. And we would also do dunk contests. But we would also play on a 9-foot hoop, and making threes was actually a lot easier because we didn't need as much strength to do so. You lower the rim, you can actually push back the three-point line the same distance as the NBA, because it's going to take less strength to actually throw it. So it's not going to take a long time for you to adjust to a 9-foot hoop. That is an absolute farce. That is probably a cop-out. And another thing, she says, what do you guys do? You just want to play basketball just to dunk? Yeah. Yes. 100%. That is the point of bringing it down to 9 feet. 100%. Yes, we want to see you guys dunk. You are doing a disservice to yourself and to the league by not wanting to have the rim lowered to 9 feet. And the league is doing a disservice by not just doing it anyways, whether you like it or not. They can play basketball, yes. They have skills. They can dribble. They can shoot. They can do crossovers. Yes. All that is true, yes. But you can't fucking dunk. And what makes the NBA is the dunks, the facials, the posterization of someone dunking. I mean, think about it. Vince Carter. I'm gonna bring it back to Vince Carter because that's my age range. Vince Carter used to have some amazing dunks. I mean, the guy dunked over he literally jumped over a 7-foot guy and threw it down. That was so freaking exciting. Why can't the women have the same? Why do the women not want the same for themselves? That success. They play basketball very good, yes. I will give them that. But unfortunately, the dunk it's missing from their game. And until they let go of their egos, the game is never going to be good. You have to be able to dunk. That's what makes the game of basketball so fucking exciting. Yeah, of course, Steph Curry doing his threes, that's amazing, but the women can do that too. The women can throw threes. Caitlin Clark, I think, showed the world that women can throw deep threes. That's easy for them to do. But dunking, now that's difficult. That's something that they have not achieved just yet. And it needs to happen. It needs to happen. And I hope that you guys watch this video and you share it and it gets shared hundreds of thousands of times and until it gets to the ears of the executives and the decision makers and we can finally put this fucking issue to rest. Lower the rim to 9 feet. Fucking do it for a couple of games. Test it out. Before I get back to the video here, in every single industry, regardless of whatever the industry is, a lot of things are done via trial and error, especially when you're trying to invent something or you're trying to come up with new solutions for certain issues or just anything new. It's what you call trial and error. Processes are established because of trial and error. You try something out, it doesn't work, you try something else. You try something out, it doesn't work, you try something else. If it does work, you keep it. And over time, you have yourself a process and you have yourself a blueprint of what works and what doesn't work. Einstein said the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. I can tell you, since the age of 16, when I started watching the WNBA, they have done nothing different. Nothing has changed at all. And you would think that after all these years, the women coming up into the league would be bigger, taller, stronger. Unfortunately, biology doesn't allow that. Women are built the way women are built. And thus, we have to lower the rim to 9 feet. And I will keep saying this throughout this whole video. Lower the fucking rim.
Question is yes, everyone wants to see you dunk on somebody. To me, that answer from Stewart, who's become a 3-time All-Star, sums up the reason why the WNBA is where it is right now, at the bottom, a joke among your average sports fan. Current players aren't willing to make a slight sacrifice for the betterment of the future. Valentina Shevchenko in MMA, Serena Williams in tennis, and Simone Biles in gymnastics are only a fraction of the female sports stars outside of basketball. If the WNBA wants to generate a name like those ones, changes will undoubtedly have to be made.
So what did we learn here, folks? What did we learn? We learned that the women of the WNBA are their worst enemy. Their egos does not allow them to see the truth of what needs to happen. What needs to happen is that you have to lower the fucking rim. And I just keep saying it, and I say it like that, right? And I use the F word to just give it a little bit of oomph because it needs to be done. That video was done 3 years ago. The league has been around since 1996. Like at some point, you have to say, okay, man, this shit is not working. This shit is not working. People are not watching it. Nobody wants to see it. And then you finally got a Caitlin Clark, and everybody wants to go watch it. Why? Because she's a female Steph Curry. But even the NBA itself is starting to lose steam because guess what? The 3-pointer, while it was fun, is becoming a little bit too much. You got 7-footers throwing threes, and the game is starting to kind of go on a bit of a decline. So we need to bring back the dunks. Let's get those exciting dunks. Let's get some 360. Let's get some off the backboard. Let's get some alley-oops going. Let's do that for the ladies, man. You deserve it. You worked hard. You want that money, right? You want the recognition. Somebody said in one of the news things that I was watching when it came to Caitlin Clark's winning the Times, Athlete of the Year, they said that they should put all the women of the WNBA on there instead of Caitlin Clark. You know what? I'm okay with that. Once we get those dunks, let's get those dunks. Let's see what happens when you get those dunks in there and the game changes. And I will guarantee you, I will bet my life on it. I will bet every single dollar, every single penny, everything that I own, that if you lower the rim to 9 feet and these ladies start dunking, they will see profit that same exact year. I will guarantee you. Those salaries will increase by the millions. You will have $100 million contract at some point if they can dunk. But until then, you're going to keep getting paid $60,000 a year, and your superstar is only going to get paid $100,000, $200,000 a year, and you will continue to lose money. It is said that in this year, 2024, the WNBA will have lost $50 million fucking dollars. $50 million. Can you guys believe that shit? $50 million lost, gone, poof, bash, banished. And who's forking up that bill? The NBA is. And the NBA themselves, they're going on a bit of a decline. Why? Because they keep fucking around and adding politics into the damn sport. Fucking get politics out of it. Tired. I'm tired of the politics in the fucking sports, man. If you want to talk politics, we'll watch the news. We'll listen to YouTubers talk about it. Hell, I might talk about some politics here and there. But let's get rid of that. Let's get politics out of the basketball game. Let's just play the damn game. Football, baseball, all that stuff. Let's just play the fucking game. The announcers, the commentary. No one gives a shit about your political view. Let's just play the game. Announce the game for the game. Let's just talk about that. And with the WNBA, it's no different. And lately, they have only been in the news for bullshit, for drama, especially with the whole race thing. I'm so tired of the race thing. Let's move away from that. Let's critique the game for what it is. The game. Caitlin Clark is an amazing basketball player, not because she's the great white hope, but because she's actually very good at the game. If there are black athletes in the league that are just as good, then we have to give them their flowers as well. And if there's an Asian basketball female player that's good, let's give her her flowers. If there's a Puerto Rican one, if there's an Indian one, it doesn't fucking matter. Let's give love and praise to the game of basketball, or to any sport for that matter. Let's do away with this whole politics shit. And when it comes to the WNBA, I want to see it succeed. I want these ladies to get the pay that they deserve and that they want. But you're not going to make money unless people actually watch your fucking games. And in order to do that, you have to lower the damn rim. It's really that simple. It frustrates me. It makes me angry. Because it's such a simple solution. You lower the rim to 9 feet. And that fixes all your problems. And if you want, as a caveat, right? And I'll leave you guys with this one. And I'll wrap this bad boy up. But if you wanted, you can take it a step further. Who normally watches sports in general, as a whole? Men. On average, men are the ones that watch sports. So you are a female sport. So if you wanted to, this is just a suggestion. If you wanted to take it up a notch, so other than lowering the rim to 9 feet, how about you feminize the uniform just a tad bit? I'm not saying take it overboard and be in bikinis or that kind of stuff, but how about we just tighten it up a little? Just a little bit. You know, let's make the uniform so that you know that you are women playing. You can adopt a similar uniform to that of the normal volleyball players. Feminine. Why not? That would be just a little caveat. that'll be just the cherry on top. But lowering the rim to 9 feet, I think solves all the problems right there. It will make money, people will watch it, and you don't have to go overseas to get paid any more money. That fixes everything. And on top of that, get rid of the fucking politics. Stop injecting politics. Stop injecting race into the damn sport. Let's just play basketball. Let's make it better.